as I still am, because it's still not a perfect place. Once I started when I was around 8 years old or so, I knew that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a musician. So I kept playing. I was really at it. You know, there's one thing about me. I was a guy that would practice. Once I started practicing, my mother had to call me to, stop practicing, come and eat dinner. Because I was in my own world. And I'm like that up to this day, really, except that I'm older now and I can't practice like 15 hours a day, but I still have the same inclination, same spirit. But I kept at it, and by the time I was about 14, I guess we got a little neighborhood band, And then by the time I was 17, we had a neighborhood band, and I was beginning to get recognized by some of the older people, older musicians. And then by 18, I made my first recordings. So I was straight. I was on that track. I was on the track to be a professional from that early age, from 8 years old, I would say. Well, that's what gave me encouragement, because that they would, take to a young kid. I mean, and then I knew, well, gee, I must have something going, because even though I'm pretty, I was never shy about playing with them, but I was still in awe of them. So the fact that I was accepted by Thelonious Monk and all these guys, they looked at me almost as being an equal. In fact, some of them did. I mean, it was talking about it now is somewhat embarrassing to me, but in actuality, some of these great musicians looked at me as being contemporary with them, and of course I was much younger, younger, at least 4 or 5 years younger than most of the guys. And it was a source of gratification to me that they thought I was good enough. So that gave me the really impetus to, well, I know I must be on the right track, keep playing. I don't know how technical you want to get, but I consider myself sort of a stream of consciousness player, and or what later was to be known as free jazz player. I think I'm basically that's what I am. I'm a free. I just play stream of consciousness, and so I had to sort of learn in a way how to play with the strictures of bebop and all these things. I had to learn that because I'm just just a natural player. I listen to my brother playing violin etudes and practicing. I listen to a lot of music around Fats Waller and all of these James B. Johnson piano rolls. We had a piano roll with his. I just heard a lot of music. Louis Jordan. I used to hear the Amateur Night in Harlem from the Apollo Theater, which had all the bands would come through for 1 week. So I just heard a lot of music, and where do I get and then I went to a lot of movies, because in the days when I was growing up, that was the television of the day, movies. So I went to a lot of movies. I heard a lot of movie music. you know, and I liked a lot of the music, Jerome Kern and all of these people, you know. Jerome Kern is one of my favorites, but I have others too, you know. And so that's where I guess I get my inspiration from. I mean, I just have a lot of music in my mind that I heard as a child, and I guess it comes out when I'm playing. But you know, I know a lot of songs. I mean, you know, the words of some of them, but I mean, I know a lot of melodies. My head is just filled with music. And when I'm improvising, they come out at different times, you know, it surprises me, you know. Gee, I played something that didn't know that I was in my mind, the recesses of my mind, you know. So I guess that's where you might say I get my ideas from. I mean, if you want to put it that way, those things are in my mind. I am looking for a more deeper um, level of creation.
You're right, Sonny.
But these